I've been a bear hunter ever since I took my first bear in Ontario with archery equipment, and I never lost my love for bear hunting. But this week we're headed to Vancouver Island for part of my obsession quest, and I wind up taking one with a rifle, but guess what? They've got a 2-bear limit, and I'm going to take my second one with my true love, archery equipment. 2 great bears, 2 great adventures. Don't go away. It's exciting.
Bass Pro Shops and Alamositos Ranch present Bob Volkrod's Hunting Adventures. Seven continents, 80 species, a 5-year quest in the making. High adventure, dangerous game. Real-world training tips. This is Bob Volkrod's Hunting Adventures.
We travel with Bob Volkrod and his guide Craig Walls into the primeval rainforests of Vancouver Island, but beautiful boat ride up the Pacific side of the island. The island lies off the west coast of British Columbia. It is a classic Pacific Rim island with towering rain-soaked mountains that plunge straight into the sea. The island itself and the waters that surround it teem with life, beneficiaries of ocean currents that bring moisture, nutrients, and temperate weather.
Oh, you come right on the water. Oh.
Both these killer whales and the bears Bob will soon be stalking grow huge on the 5 species of salmon that return each year to the island's many rivers.
It wasn't too long ago the Safari Club opened up Vancouver Island for its own species black bear. And what they're saying, it's the largest black bear in the world.
We start our hunts April 1st and go through into the first part of June. And the bears are just starting to come out. So the first part of the year you just start to see the boars out mainly. And they're just eating all grass, and that's all they're eating. So we're hunting those grassy estuaries, grassy logging roads.
Hunting bears anytime in the springtime, the first thing those bears got to do is they got to find some grass, and they eat the grass. And, there's no baiting on Vancouver Island, so I mean, it's natural habitat, so you're trying to find those bears when they come out, feeding up on the grass. And that's why, you come into a little inlet and there's a grassy little spot. And normally, especially when it starts to get low light, those bears, they come out of the woodworks onto those little grassy spots.
The Vancouver Island bears are larger and more black than their mainland cousins. Skeletons found in caves near Port Hardy indicate that the bear has been a resident of the island for as long as 10,000 years. Contrary to popular belief, these bears do not truly hibernate, but enter a state similar to deep sleep. The bear's population on the island is likely between 7,000 and 12,000 and is considered to be one of the most dense in the world. There are no natural predators to the bears on the island, although adult male bears that encounter sows with cubs will quite commonly kill the cubs to initiate estrus and breeding in the sow. Hunters come from all over the world to pursue the huge bruins. Success rates can run as high as 10% annually. Studies show that the Vancouver Island black bear has a healthy, stable population through hunting, and it's not likely to decline in the foreseeable future. This week's Conservation Angle has been brought to you by Wild Sheep Foundation.
The bounty of Vancouver Island can seem endless. Bob had no sooner arrived in camp when Craig took him back out to sea to gather appetizers for the evening meal.
They talked about going out and pulling the prong traps.
Yeah, the prawns and prim and prem, whatever Bob called them.
I guess I didn't know what a prong was,
Yeah, we usually try to set the prawn traps and give everyone a good feed of prawns.
We went out and pulled. And I'm glad the outfitter was there because my little arms got tired.
Are you pulling it all back there, Bob?
I thought I was. It was down there something like 400, 500 feet. See that little brass thing? I think that's, how many feet is that?
I think they're 50 feet apart.
50 foot apart. Oh, that means we only
Or
got
5 more and we should be there.
5 more to go. But it was worth it because I pulled them every day.
Usually everyone gets pretty addicted to them and we seem to be pulling them every day.
I mean, you talk about delicious now. I mean, it was sinful good. I mean, we sat there and just couldn't eat anymore. He's got all this, you know, steaks and, you know, potatoes and everything that went with it. And after we got through eating them prongs, I mean, I didn't have room for anything else.
You usually get 40 or 50, enough for a good meal every time you pull them.
It was absolutely fantastic.
There we go. We'll come back in a couple hours and let you do it again.
We got pretty lucky on this trip. It was bright and sunny the whole time, but that's not usually the case out in the West Coast. You get a lot of rain and it can change real quick. First 3 weeks of our hunting season this year, I think we had 2 days of sunshine.
Vancouver Island. Boy, when I was putting this hunt together, one thing I knew for sure I would need is a rain suit. Tropical rainforest and good footwear because we're going to cross a lot of streams, rivers, bogs, and stalking the black bear. One thing that we didn't need on this trip was the rain gear. It was absolutely beautiful weather, but one thing we did need for sure was those Gore-Tex boots.
Bob Volkrod's gear includes a Browning A-Bolt and 300 short mag, Winchester 180 grain Nosler ballistic tip bullets, Swarovski optics, Redhead clothing with Gore-Tex and Windstopper, Gore-Tex knee-high boots, and a Kufaru tent.
Preparation is everything when it comes to hunting the most intimidating big game animal in North America.
Well, it's time to do the real deal. What I call the real deal is practicing in real life hunting conditions. If you see it this way, I'm hunting plains game. If you see it this way, I'm hunting dangerous game. I'm just going to jog down this hill a little bit, jog back up. I'll probably be panting a little bit. We're going to do the same thing. Make that first shot count and then jack it 2 more times. See if you can keep it in that black circle. That's an 8-inch circle. See if you can keep it in there. If you can, you're pretty much going to keep that animal down. Now that first shot is the one you're really taking your time with. But you want to keep him on the beach. You want to keep him in front of you. You don't want him to get in the woods if you don't have to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk down just for sure, look at my target again. I'm going to come back, I'm going to load this thing back up, and I'm going to jog a little bit. So when I come back up, I'm breathing hard, my heart's pounding. That's just like that adrenaline rush that you get. Okay, got lots of time, take your time. Safety off. Wait. Okay, make this shot good. He's down. You know, I'm not really sure where my first shot was. I'm hoping that was my first shot, and obviously I got 2 more into him. That's the way to practice. I do that with archery and with rifle. It gives me that adrenaline rush to see whether I can perform just like I just did when the adrenaline is really at its highest peak.
This week's training tip is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition.